What's up, Full Circle? It's your boy Flash, man.
What's going on, man? Let's go get it, man.
We coming at you with Wealth Wednesday. It's just the last Wednesday of May, man. How you feeling today?
Hey, I'm feeling like getting into Wealth Wednesday, man. How you feeling?
Come on, yeah, same.
Last Wednesday in May. Let's get into it, man. I hope you guys been paying attention to the markets. If you ain't been paying attention to the markets, at least you've been paying attention to the Discord if you have. But if you're not, this is where you get caught up to date. We still moving up to all-time highs, right? SPY moving up to all-time highs. So the last few days I've been putting it in the Discord, man. I've been kind of showing where we've been at, and I put my analysis for the possibilities of what could happen Tuesday when we open up on Tuesday, because we have Memorial Day. So I'm gonna pull the Discord real quick because I put some information in there in the stock market news section, or the stock analysis, one of them. And there's some nice data that I found, right? So the week after Memorial Day has historically always been positive, right? Sorry. The SP 500 gains an average of 1.25% that week, with the market finishing higher in the 14 of the last 18 years, right? The psychological effect of summer starting brings what analysts call euphoria back into the market, and the broader Memorial Day pattern, the S&P 500, shows little anomalous behavior in those days immediately around Memorial Day, with returns staying near the historical baseline, meaning no unusual volatility or selling pressure, right? So Tuesday, that was just some good information going into Tuesday, right? And you can kind of see that we're on Wednesday. We still got the rest of the week, but we'll see whether or not we finish higher, right? One of the scenarios that I had put out in the Discord on Tuesday was the fact that this is where we closed that last Friday. And one of the scenarios where we break that 748 level and retest it and possibly go higher if we stay above it, which so far we have been staying above it the last 2 days. Or it was a possible rejection from that area, go back to the downside, or you were just going to go to the downside, right? Probably test that area again and maybe make your way a little down, right? But we ended up getting that scenario where, boom, you ended up crossing that 748 resistance level. You're holding above it now. Now that we're holding above it, it's still showing strength from the bullish, right? The people who are putting their orders into the upside. We're holding above that level. So let's see what we do the next couple of days. We got Thursday, we got Friday. Let's see whether or not we come back into that range, right? Or we end up going back up even higher, right? You got something to keep in mind too, is I was looking the other day, I believe you got people with a 770 target, right? Some people were thinking about 770, and I had thought about that. I was listening to CNBC, right? And that's only 3% from where we are now, right? So one good week, one good month, right? One good few weeks, and we get even just a 6% gain. We're now in the 800 mark. We know this is going to hit 1,000 at some point, even for SPX 500, right? Which is the same thing. You got analysts talking about, where did I have that at? A 9% increase to 82.50 at the end of the year, right? So this is what they're talking about, man. Bullish is in the air, man. And if you want to keep staying updated, man, join us in the Discord. Join us in the Discord, man. You got a company named Micron ended up hitting $1 trillion in market cap today. They ended up going from $92 in December of 2024 or something like that. But if you just look at this chart, this is a semiconductor company, right? I'm mentioning these guys because NVIDIA, Micron, AMD, these are the companies that have been running up lately too, the semiconductors, right? So something to keep in mind is that, yes, all the top tech companies that run our world, they're going to continue running our world. But for the people who have been keeping up to date with us in Full Circle Wealth, and if you've been following along, you know a little bit more about the market, you can start looking at other sectors within tech, semiconductors. Get yourselves to understand semiconductors, right? Semiconductors are those chips that make the AI power the way that these companies need it to power, right? And Micron, they're a company just like NVIDIA. that provides semiconductors, and they've been growing and growing, right? So sometimes even looking at the top companies within a certain sector, you can see where those companies are spending money and who's competing with those companies, right? Because if that's a booming sector, the top 3 in that sector usually are good companies, right? So if Nvidia is the big dog, if they hit $1 trillion of market cap, now you have Micron, you have AMD, right? Those are the next to come. And once you understand investing a little bit, you start to see that opportunity, man. So semiconductor space, get in tune with that as well. You know, we'll talk about that more into the Discord. But hey, I've been going on a rabbit hole, man. But you got anything to say, bro?
Nah, man. Spy all time highs. 750, man. Yeah, we moving.
Yeah, there's we could just keep emphasizing the same thing, man. You know, April, May 2026 when we saw that dip, right? For the people who are just now getting to the stock market, for the people who have been watching for a minute and still don't really understand, if you could just understand the fact that you buy the quality companies when it's red and when people are fearful, right? That's not when you sell. When people are talking about the market is crashing and all this stuff, they're just trying to make you panic. All you got to do is stay diligent and trust the economy, trust these companies, because these companies are great companies no matter what. And you buy that dip. When we was talking about a 10% dip from 700 to 629, that's only 10%. That's a correction, right? That's not only, but that was an opportunity where we was emphasizing, hey, for the people who want to get into the stock market, for the people who are looking to start, this is where you want to start, right? Starting up here near all-time highs, right? Yes, we can go rise higher, but it's a little bit more riskier, right? But all you have to do is be prepared for that next pullback, for that next dip, for that next opportunity, and that's when you need to start. That being said, man, we can talk a little bit about crypto, Bitcoin. We can move into that, man.
Let's get into it.
I should have widened out the screen. I didn't even think about that.
I got you. This is the Bitcoin chart, man. It's not looking too much different from what we had last week. I think that we were let me go to the daily. We're already on the daily. Not looking too much different from where we were last week. Right around the same area. Around that 74,000 mark. We're a little bit lower actually than last week. We're still in this range from the higher 82,000s and the lower 62,000 right here. Yeah, we're not looking too different. We do have the Clarity Act being passed. There's a countdown for that. Yeah, I think the date is I forget what day it is in June, but it's coming up pretty soon, man. We got the Clarity Act coming up.
Yeah, I think I've seen like June 14th.
Yeah,
I could be just talking, but
no, it's somewhere around there. Yeah.
But yeah, you could clearly see, for the people who want to understand this chart more, right? Clearly, Bitcoin is in a range, right? If you look at between 82,000 and that 74,000, clearly it's in a range, and usually you want to buy at the bottom of those ranges, right? You want to just be this is how you dissect the market and be able to grasp better prices for long term, for trades, such and such. You put that price in a box, and now you can see it for what it is, and not just one big chart.
Exactly, and that's what we emphasize. If you don't at least analyze and have that technical analysis without you even having to invest, you can kind of see with the way that it's moving where a good buying opportunity would be and where not a good buying opportunity would be. And so I would say that this possibly could be a good buying opportunity, especially because we have regulatory clearance coming through. And so, Bitcoin is the bigger brother of all the cryptos. So when Bitcoin is either moving, fluctuating, there's cryptos that are doing, 20% in a week, right? 5% in a week, maybe even 20% down, 10% in a week. So it all depends on how the market is looking. I'm gonna pull up CoinMarketCap real quick so we can see the overall market and not just Bitcoin. You got anything? Okay, cool. I ain't wanna just open it and you be on some
Man, chill out, man. That's what y'all be doing.
That's what y'all be on, man. You need to be in these charts.
Stay off them sites. Get on the charts. Come on, man.
All right. For the crypto market,